My girlfriend broke up with me cause she wants to fuck other people. So me and my GF had been dating for around a year now, and yesterday she told me she wants to break up so she can work on herself and fuck other people so she doesn't cheat on me. She then said that she would like to get back with me after she did stuff and met new people. Never felt so lonely and useless in my life. Any tips or advice on how to deal with this and move on? Edit. Turns out she wants to go to parties and get tucked up and meet new people because she thinks she's missing out. She also started catching feelings for this guy, so she broke up with me because she couldn't promise me that she wouldn't have sex with him. She also said she wants our kind of relationship when we're in our 20s. Feels bad, man. Just ignore her existence, man. She's basically saying that you aren't enough. Don't be disrespected like that. I don't think it's right for her to want to have this hold on you just because she wants to explore sexually more. It's good she communicated everything with you instead of just cheating, but ultimately it's up to you whether you feel comfortable getting back into a relationship with her. If you know you can't emotionally handle what she's doing, don't give her any hope of coming back into a relationship with you unless you're 100% sure you can work past it and be okay and not hold a grudge against her forever for it. Delete, block and never go back. No matter how fast she comes back. Go have fun yourself and remember time is a great healer. That's a valid, if shallow, reason to break up. It's also a valid reason to refuse to take her back after the fact if you have a modicum of self-respect. Too long didn't read. She thinks she can have her cake and eat it, too. Don't play along with that. Give her an A for morals and an F for character. Then get over her as fast as you can. My sister's ex-boyfriend blames me for her death, and it's killing me inside. So I don't know how to add any warning, but here's a trigger warning beforehand because I know it's a sensitive topic. My sister, 22F, died in a car accident a few months ago, because she went out to get something. For the context of this situation, I'm 18F and struggling in college and life. I've had suicidal thoughts that just comes from those things, and a lot of it came from awful experiences that kept happening to me. My sister caught me one day self-harming one day when I thought I was home alone, but turns out I wasn't. I know it was awful to see because I was holding a razor in tears and she asked to see the rest of the cuts on my thighs, and she was in tears too. So we had a nice talk. It felt good and took my mind off from the pain at that moment. She hugged me and said comforting things, and it made me happy instead of feeling sad like I was when I was cutting myself. She then said she'd leave the house and go to the nearby shopping plaza 5 minutes away, and said she'd buy us some warm dinner and some goodies like video games and chocolate so we can spend time later for the rest of the day. I was looking forward to this, so I waited at home, and I was worried when she wasn't answering my calls and didn't come back. Turns out that on her way back she got hit by a driver on the way home, and if she had never went there she wouldn't have died. This just made me feel more bad, and I almost considered going back to self-harming to cope when I thought about how she wanted me to be strong. So it's been hard trying to process her death. She had a boyfriend at that time and I know he's upset, but he's been blaming me for the death, calling me awful names for having suicidal thoughts and self-harming, and said it was all my fault that I just had to be selfish and cause her to lose her life. I don't know how to move on from it because all I can think about is how he is right, since if it wasn't for me self-harming that day, she wouldn't have found me and went out to not come back home. I wanted to try to get closure from my sister's death and try to make peace with her ex-boyfriend, but I don't know how to because every time he sees me now or he'll text me, it's just a constant reminder of how it's my fault and I'm not sure how to try to make things right. Edit. I know people have said I should probably just stop seeing or talking to him, but it's hard not to because he lives close by and his mother and my mother are close and see each other a lot when their kids started dating. So it's hard being in the home with him there and constantly reminding me of it. His mother says that he's still in shock at the loss of his girlfriend and to not mind him, and my mom has tried talking to him about it to get him to stop, but he hasn't. Why don't just stop talking to him? It sounds awful. It's an accident, destiny. Use that experience to help other people that live the same thing. You will understand the situation and be of great help to other victims. You need to be forceful if the nice way isn't working. Shut it down as much as possible. Sister was in an accident. Blaming me is not acceptable and makes it harder for me to deal with her death. Then you need to tell your mom you won't be around when he's at your home. Stay in your room, because he's making you miserable. This is detrimental to your own mental health and you need to make that very clear. Your sister loved you enough to want to make you feel better as much as possible. She would not want him to make you miserable. This was an accident. Fluke. It was not because of you. You did not cause this. Please make sure you are in therapy and possibly a group grief counseling. I wouldn't worry about making peace with him. That's something that's completely out of your control and something he may not ever be open to, and that's okay. He doesn't even have to be a part of your life. I would focus on making peace with yourself by seeking therapy. Go full North Carolina. There's no reason to continue communicating with him and putting yourself through that. Tell your mom about this, please. This is not your fault and you should not blame yourself. Also, he sound like a fucking dick. This is so heartbreaking to read, and even if he's in grief, he's no grieving in the right way. But it's not your fault. Car accidents happen a lot, and while it's devastating, he needs to stop taking it out on you. But if I were you, I just wouldn't. If your sister's last moments were her comforting you, I don't think she'd want you to put yourself through more pain trying to cope. Sending lots of love to you. Gender fluid, non-binary, X. Friend 26 is making me second guess if I'm 29F actually an asshole. Update at the bottom. Too long didn't read. A friend seemed to make everything, and I mean everything, an issue about gender, and in the process made me start to think I'm a bad person for not getting it. I ended the friendship because I felt like it was one-sided and got sick and tired of everything being a gender issue. I'm a cis straight woman who's married. I'm pretty respectful and happy to try to make others happy and feel comfortable. But I didn't even know what cis was until I met this person 2 years ago at school. I always thought of all people the same way I thought of myself. I just am a woman who is straight. It just is. It's a fact. That's it. It's not deeper than that. It's not a personality trait. All it means is that I will be happy and comfortable with a straight male in a healthy and committed relationship. And I am. With my husband. I met a friend at school who identifies as non-binary, gender fluid, trans, poly and few other things, and that's fine. Whatever floats your boat. I learned that sometimes I had to call this person she on some days, and he on others, and they on other days still. They would get pissy with me for getting it wrong, as if I'm supposed to just read their mind and know today is a he/him day. It got to the point where I realized everything was about labels and identities to this person. We could not go shopping without them saying all these hetero clothes makes me sick, or why can't there ever just be gender neutral clothes? I made the mistake of asking what are gender neutral clothes to you. I like wearing black, gray and white because they're literally neutral colors, easy to make outfits with. I don't really think of clothing as gendered unless it's for newborn babies. And apparently this was all wrong, biased, transphobic, and pushing sexuality on babies. I left confused about everything. We met up for lunch and I showed her a picture of a unique ring my husband bought for me for Christmas that referenced a video game, and I told them how much I loved it. They said, "Oh my god, straight people just love to push their hetero-ness any chance they get." I felt kinda upset, and I said, "So what did I do this time?" in a snarky voice. They said, "If you don't understand what you're doing, you never will." And got up and left me to pay for the whole bill, super annoyed by that too. Well, finally after about 6 more months of too many encounters like this, I told this person I'm sorry, but I just don't think we can be friends. Everything I say and do is policed by you and I'm just afraid to say anything for fear of triggering you somehow. Everything seemed to be a trigger. I can't even get a strawberry acai refresher from Starbucks without you being disgusted that it's a pink drink. implying it's girly. Doesn't that mean you are projecting gender onto everything? I want to just hang out and talk about interesting things, but all we ever talk about is you and your labels, and I'm just getting nothing out of this friendship. I couldn't even show a photo of a ring without it somehow being about gender. Then, they started crying and said this always happens, nobody will ever understand or love me for who I am, you're just like every other basic cis bitch with no respect for me. And I tried reaching out to see if she was okay later, but all she responded with was blocked, and I never heard from them again. Am I missing something here? Am I a toxic asshole to non-binary people? I'm really only second guessing myself and seeking opinions because this person seemed convinced about everything they said, and practically convinced me that I was making their mental health worse. But honestly, typing everything out, I don't believe I did or said anything wrong. I feel like this person was actually a shitty friend to me, and I feel dumb for trying way too long to be a good friend to them despite how often they made me feel bad. All perspectives welcome, especially from the non-binary and gender-fluid community. Update: so, with the help of the constructive responses, I've pretty much concluded that this person was possibly an extremist, clearly had underlying mental health issues surrounding their identity. It was not obvious to me at the time because they were my first close non-binary friend, so I wasn't sure what was or wasn't healthy about our discussions, and was a general jerk, and I made the right move to end the friendship. Despite how they treated me, I wish them the best and hope they get the help they need to be fulfilled and happy. Thanks Reddit therapists and problem solvers. You're not an asshole. This person sounds like they have a lot to work through, and they were using you as a foil for their insecurities to bounce off of. You were right to disengage. I also don't feel like cis people need to deeply understand queer genders in order to be good and respectful friends. Your gender is no less worthy of respect because you are cis, actually. Like you don't appreciate everything even tangentially connected to your ex-friend's idea of cis womanhood being looked down at derisively. You're allowed to have a wedding ring and get a dang pink drink without either of those activities being about gender. They're the one playing gender police. Sincerely, a non-binary person. Seems like a delusional asshole. Trust your decision and don't be friends with her and never look back. You're not responsible for anyone's happiness. Transmasculine, non-binary, fella, here. This is a batshit crazy person. Move on. No, you wasn't wrong in how you felt. You are not an asshole. What you met was what I like to call an extremist.